We will now go into our last part of our candidates forum, and we go in reverse order, where Ms. Angela Muhammad will start. You have 5 minutes to wrap up on your closing remarks. We will start with Ms. Angela Muhammad.
Thank you, Council President. You know, I was taught that if you teach a man to fish, well, if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. And if you teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. And we need to adopt the mentality to teach our residents how to do for self and not be so dependent, because as we can see with the homeless population rising, like I was stating at the council meeting, I have a young lady that's 7 months high-risk pregnancy, 3 children, and she's homeless. We have went to every resource available here to only be told that they have nothing to offer this mother. So I'm looking into the ailments that plague our city. Of course, homelessness, we have unemployment, we have lack of education. Our city needs immediate attention. We need to address the issues that the residents have. And I've been doing it on a smaller scale through the Do It for Love Foundation. You know, it's a blessing to be able to help people, but it would be more effective on a larger scale as a council person at large. So I'm looking into helping the residents establish education, employment, mental health, clarity, because we have mental health issues that are plaguing the residents that they may not be aware of. Are you okay? Okay. Also, I'm looking into, we're talking a lot about rateables, bringing external resources into the city. We could beautify this city. I've seen things that were built from the ground up, beautiful, and you know, a few months later I see graffiti all over it, or I see garbage all outside of it. So we have to keep in mind that this has to be a duality. We have to dually, you know, bring in opportunity for our residents. At the same time, we have to help our residents gain a sense of pride that can enable us to take better care of our city. And that is through community resources that we touched on earlier. We need community centers that offers more than basketball and football, and we need to be taught what to do in case of an emergency, in case of a natural disaster. Do you have enough water in your home? Do you not have enough food in your home? Do your family have a place to meet up and know how to move out in case of emergency? And again, addressing some of the questions that were asked by the candidates, and they were absolutely phenomenal questions. You know, I see Patterson as a bunch of scattered pearls. We have so many entities that offer so much, but scattered pearls have some value, but if we strand them up in order and come together and unify, we can be so invaluable. So I look to open a platform for these entities like the Street Keepers and Do It for Love Foundation and other, the Heart of Hannah and the Mature Sisters. We need a platform where they can have access to more support, to access to people, the residents that offer more help. So with that, will be a part of my vision and my platform to be the city council, or being the city council person at large. I'm Sister Angela Muhammad, your sister, your servant, your friend. I am 13B on the ballot, and I offer moral, ethical business administration centered in fearing God. Thank you.
So once again, I want to be...
Thank you, Ms. Muhammad. Our next candidate for their final remarks is Ms. Mims, please.
My apologies. Thank you so much for this awesome opportunity. I want to thank everyone that will watch this all the way up until May 8th. Patterson, it's time to make a change, and we are the people. I am your candidate that can do it. let's go on this vision and journey of time. Wouldn't it be wonderful to see Patterson, our streets clean, safe streets, no potholes? Wouldn't it be nice to see all of our educational resources in place where our children are able to go to the park, they're able to play, they're able to compete not just on a local level but on a global level? Wouldn't it be wonderful to hear good things come out of Patterson and to hear us known as by our strengths and not our weaknesses? Wouldn't it be great to hear great stories out of Patterson versus the negativity that comes through the news media and all other outside sources? It's time, Patterson. It's time for us to build the foundation for a better Patterson. It's time for us to engage the community and make sure your voices are at the table. It's time for transparent and accountable government. It's time for transparent and thought leadership. It's time for us to be in a position where we can pay our bills online and we're not able to just write a check or stand on a long line. We need to move our technology from the Flintstone age to the Jetsons. It's time for us to have responsible enforcement where we could prioritize all of our code enforcement issues to make sure that we're ahead of the game and not behind it. It's time to ensure that we make sure that we care for our workers. We make sure that we have in place some private labor agreements that make sure that people that have skill sets like construction and pipeline work and electricians, that they get a part of the job opportunities that are in the city. It's time for us to economically empower our community by economically empowering the people. We can't have a safe city unless we make a safe city where people are attracted to it, unless we take care of the crime and make sure that we have police on the street. We have to make sure, because we're a cash-strapped city, we have to make sure that we can find resources by having a program management office in place to make sure that we have grant writers, to make sure we have a program management office in place so that we don't have streets sort of paved and then have to be pulled up because public service is doing it before you dig. We have to make sure that we have people that are in these positions that take care of the concerns of the residents and the city of Patterson. In my capacity as a pastor, I have the wonderful opportunity to be your full-time council person, where you can call me all day. I'm available. I'm ready, I'm willing, and available to be able to hear, listen, and to be that individual that will listen to your concerns. I'm running for councilwoman at large because we need someone that will be our voice. We need someone that will be our ears, our eyes, someone that's experienced, someone that's not willing to come to the council and learn and have learning curves, but is open and ready to receive information. I've been in the city all my life. I'm a single mother of 4. I have 2 grandchildren. I've been in the city. I've been advocating. I've been serving this community for over 20 years. Haven't been doing it because of a paycheck, not doing it for a title, not doing it because I want my name in lights. I'm doing it because I represent you. I represent your concerns when you can't speak. I represent your eyes when you can't see. I represent your ears when you can't hear. I am here for you. My name is Elisa Mims. I'm 3B on the ballot. Estoy aquí para ti. I am here for you. I am Elisa Mims. I will fight for you. I will advocate for you. I will be the person that will serve you as a full-time council person where you'll know who I am, you'll know where I am, and you'll know that when I vote and I'm advocating is in the best interest of the city of Patterson. It's time for Patterson to heal. So now the ball is in your court. On May 8th, we have about 12 days left. I need all of your friends, all of your family, and everyone you know that when you go behind the ballot booth, you think of Patterson as being on life support, and it needs to be shot back into life. And when you go behind the ballot, I need each and every one of you to go behind the ballot, and on the count of the 3B, I want you to hit that button, and I guarantee you that life will be revitalized back into the city of Patterson. My name is Elisa Mims. I'm 3B on the ballot. You can reach me by coming to my headquarters, 247 Broadway. My phone number is 973-902-1957. You can also text me, Facebook. I'm on Facebook, Elisa Mims. I am not new to this. I've been doing this. Patterson, it's time to make a change, and we are the people that can do it. It's not an I thing, but it's a we thing. Let's move this city together forward. Make the right choice. Vote for Elisa Mims. I'm 3B on the ballot. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Mim. Our next candidate to give their closing remarks is Mr. K.C. Melvin.
Yes, thank you, Council President, and I appreciate this forum and opportunity to once again reach out to the members of the City of Paterson. My name is Casey Melvin. My position on the ballot is 8B, and my slogan, my campaign slogan is making the people my priority. What does that mean? Making the people my priority is making all the issues that concern the residents of the City of Paterson come first, make it top priority. When we talk about the social ills that our city is being faced with, the homelessness, psychosis, depression, addiction, I want to utilize legislation to address those issues. When we talk about unemployment, underemployment, and lack of economic opportunity, I want to use legislation to provide answers and resolutions towards that. It bothers me to know and see that our city has spent over $35 to $37 million on paving these streets, and we still have a pothole issue. And I couldn't find anybody who has a Paterson address who was employed with that money being spent. So for me, that's a problem. When you spend $37 million in your town and nobody or a handful of individuals are employed by that, that's a problem. I want to change that. I want to provide economic opportunity. I want to provide adequate employment, not underemployment, because I've learned that some people are working, but they're just not making enough. So by way of government, we can change those conditions. We spend over $280 million in a 12-month period. And the answer is that a lot of that money is going out of town. We need to do different things to bring, if not all that money, most of that money back. I want to address the issues of crime. I've been working with various community groups, one group in particular, the Street Keepers. We've been highly instrumental in calming down what most may consider a crosstown rivalry, but by whom what people classify as up the hill and down the hill. The summer of 2015 was one of the quietest summers because individuals like myself, Kenyatta Stewart, Rashawn Dixon, the president of the Street Keepers, went to these young individuals head on, sat them down and forced them to conversate. And within their own little way, they resolved problems that could have caused our city more months and more years of turmoil. If we had the proper services and the resources, we could have continued that truce. But unfortunately, that wasn't in place. So if I'm elected, I'll make sure that young individuals who want to do the right thing but don't have the opportunity to do so have the opportunity to be provided that assistance. I want to address the issues of education, whether it be formal or informal, because part of a large majority of my understanding and my knowledge not only came from the Paterson Public School District, but it came from individuals who mentored me and gave me guidance that are born and raised in the city of Paterson, and they invested in me. So I want to use my elected position to provide those services and more with support and resource behind it to make it more sustainable for the individuals of Paterson. It is my belief, it is my thought, it is my philosophy that Paterson is not a broken city, it's not a poor city, it's a city that's deprived. So I want to bring some resources back by way of government and allow government to do what it was intended, to service and provide for the people. My name is Casey Melvin, my number is 8B. I want to bring to the table fairness, trust, honesty. I have no hidden agendas. My only objective is, as my slogan says, is to make the people my priority and bring the resources back to Paterson by way of government. Again, 8B, please support me. I'm asking all 82,536 registered voters to vote for me as your next council person at large on May 8th, 2018. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Melvin. We will now have Mr. Ken McDaniel giving his closing remarks. Mr. McDaniel.
Thank you, Council President. And I'll start my closing remarks by saying this. I want people to know that I definitely love this work. I love this work. I love constituent services, community engagement. One thing I don't love, though, is the election process. In my maturity, I've matured into a very humble individual. So it's difficult to, and I know I have to, but it's difficult to use these opportunities to highlight my personal strong points and attempt to suggest why I'm preferable over other candidates. It's even more difficult when you know the individuals personally. These 4 individuals that are sitting here, I've known them for several years. I've worked with them in various capacities and organizations in the city of Paterson. Nonetheless, I do want to highlight certain things that I failed to mention in the opening. I definitely have a strong community service background. I listed a number of the organizations that I participate with here in the city of Paterson. That information is widely known. I do hold pertinent educational background and experience. I have a BA in sociology, a master's degree in administrative science, which is what city government is all about, bureaucracy and governance. I have a graduate certificate in public management, directly relating to city government. I have a graduate certificate in addiction studies and a doctorate in education administration. I'm currently the vice principal at Passaic County Technical Institute, the high school that I graduated from. Prior to that, I was vice principal at school number 20, the public school here in Paterson that I graduated from. Prior to that, I was a probation officer, where I picked up a lot of experience dealing with public safety, working hand in hand with the Paterson Police Department, the Passaic County Sheriff's Department, and other law enforcement agencies. The list of these things that I've done, it goes on. I'm currently the president of the Passaic County Sheriff's Department's community engagement program. I'm a school administrator, like I mentioned. I've served on the planning board here in these city council chambers. All of that experience, I believe, makes me uniquely qualified to fill this role again. And I don't want to leave out the fact that I was already here. It was an abbreviated term. I only had 2 years, but in those 2 years, I accomplished a lot. I've written legislation, I've studied legislation, not only here in the city of Paterson, but in other cities across the country, trying to bring back what's best for our particular city. I've worked with the council president in public safety. I earned the position of city council vice president. If elected, or when elected on May 8th, I am more than capable of hitting the ground running, and I offer myself to serve in a leadership role, be it city council vice president again, or city council president. So this is someone coming in with experience, ready to go. Now, voters have the opportunity to vote for 3 people, and I want to encourage every voter to make sure that in your 3, you include 7B. I'm Ken McDaniel. My ballot designation is 7B. I'm ready and willing to hit the ground running here in the city of Paterson, back on the city council. You can reach me and learn more about my plan by calling or texting 973-910-0750, 973-910-0750, or email me at abetterpatterson@gmail.com. That's abetterpatterson@gmail.com. Once again, Ken McDaniel, row 7B, on May 8th. Select me as part of your 3. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McDaniel. Our next candidate for their final remarks is Reverend Douglas L. Maven. Will you please do your final remarks?
Thank you, Council President, and the City Clerk's Office for this opportunity to share a little bit about myself, my vision, and my hopes for the City of Paterson. What drives me to do what I do in this community is my passion. What drives me is my genuine concern. What drives me is my love for Patterson and its diverse people. What drives me not only the problems we face, but the possibilities that exist. Those possibilities, however, will require 9 people on the council who have a common vision for our city. 9 people who are willing to collaborate and become unified in our purpose for the good of Patterson. 9 people who are willing to set aside their self-interest, self-made plans and ideas, and be willing to represent the people who elected them and willing to be held accountable to them. But there's one more reality before we can transform our problems into possibilities. The vision of the council must be in sync with that of the administration, the mayor, whoever that may be. Year after year, we have seen nothing but tension and contention between the mayor's office and the city council. And for the problems of our city to become possibilities, that must cease. We need to stop bickering, stop fighting and fussing, stop feuding and being fickle, and let something get done for the good of people who elected us. Let's demonstrate that the government is indeed for the people and by the people. Let us be accountable to each other, both the mayor and the council, to the people who elected us. I know accountability. I live accountability. I'm a Methodist, and that may not mean much to some of you who don't know that religious tradition. But what it means is that I must always answer to a higher authority. If you elect me, I have no problem answering to the people who elected me, but more importantly, I forever remain mindful that I must ultimately answer to an even higher authority. Allow me to end where I begin in my opening statement. I'm a servant. That is all I've ever done. That is all I know how to do. A vote for Douglas Maven will give you a voice that is yours, a voice that will not appease you with false promises that I cannot keep, a voice that will speak what I hear from you, a voice that will vote on matters that are of concern to you, a voice that will represent you, a voice that will put the people of Patterson first. I am the Reverend Dr. Douglas L. Maven, row 2B on your ballot. It's Patterson's time. It's time for Patterson to become the economic viability it can have. It's time for Patterson to become a mecca of tourism. It's time for Patterson to build off its rich history and move into the future, putting the people of Patterson first. Again, I solicit your vote, Reverend Douglas L. Maven, row 2B on your ballot. I ask for your support. I ask for your vote. It's Patterson's time. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we conclude, I want to thank Ms. Angela Muhammad, Ms. Lisa Mims, Mr. Casey Melvin, Mr. Kenneth McDaniel, Reverend Douglas L. Maven for participating in the City Council candidate debate, Council at Large. But before I let you go, I just need to give some information out to our viewers. Your sample ballot will be mailed out by May 4th, 2018. Your polling location where you will vote will be printed on the front of your sample ballot. The third and final session of our at-large candidate forum will be Friday, April the 27th, 2018 at 2 p.m., and the following candidates will be featured: Mr. Flavio Rivera, Mr. Davon Roberts, Mr. Juan Mitch Santiago, and Mr. Zelly Thomas. Beginning Monday, April 30th, the entire series of the candidates forum will be aired on our local channel. If you have any questions regarding the municipality election, please contact our city clerk's office at 973-321-1310. And I want to say once again thank you to all 5 of my at-large candidates. This will conclude our candidates forum today, and everyone have a safe afternoon. Thank you so very much.